Will Marcus Rashford be returning to the fold at Manchester United? The winger spent last season on loan at Barcelona and he hasn't played for United since 2024. We've previously reported there is a confidence at United they could find a club willing to pay more than £26 million for Rashford, who still has 2 years left on his contract. The 28-year-old's future was also discussed by the panel on the Sky Sports vodcast, by the way. Right, OK, so let's talk with Charlie about Marcus Rashford. Do you think that Manchester United should do everything they can to keep him and get him playing again at his best for the club?
OK, going what we see in the summer and how well he did do at the World Cup, and thought he could have played more, then you say yes. You forget how hard it is for him to go over, English people to go over to Spain and play at Barcelona and perform. He did that over there. Can he help Manchester United? Absolutely. Can he prevent Manchester United to go in and pay 80, 90 million on a player when they've already got one in the building in Marcus Rashford for a replacement? No. So it ultimately, for me, comes down to the conversation that Marcus Rashford and Michael Carrick have. And if Michael Carrick can get across to him what he wants and what he expects, and he believes Marcus Rashford can do that, then I'd expect him to do that. But you saying there's confidence from Manchester United that you're going to move him on for 26 million, that's absolutely
cheap, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's
that because of his wages.
Yeah, but to get him off. But don't forget about it. If he's going for 26 million, and he's going now, and you're going to argue like everyone has spoke about how much money he's on, etc., etc. But he's going to take a pay cut wherever he goes. Manchester United will be subsidising that. They'll have to give him money to leave.
So keep him.
Yes, because for me, I think you keep him because you don't go and replace Marcus Rashford. How much are you going to have to pay in this market? 70, 80 million?
Well, if Barcola's 150.
Oh, don't get me started on transfer numbers.
You brought it up.
Yeah, I know, but
how much will it cost?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like when you say Barcola costs 135 million, you're talking Rodgers 117 million, and like the transfer fees are just obscene at the moment where it's going. But it's going to cost a fair few quid to replace Marcus Rashford in that position at Manchester United.
Keep a few views coming in. Keep those coming in, by the way. I mean, he has... We've just mentioned the finances there. He's just been at the World Cup with England. Did well at Barcelona last season. He's won trophies at Barcelona and he's won them at Manchester United in the past as well. So not just his footballing ability, how much could he help the club? And he knows the club inside out.
Of course he can. This
just
is
like
where
Michael
it comes
Carrick
to.
does.
So we all go on about how much he fell out with people at Manchester United. And we also talk about the love he has for Manchester United. Now it's time to prove how the club and him, do they get back on? Was it down to the manager that's left, etc., etc.? So it'll be interesting how this works out. But we talk about how Marcus Rashford is off the pitch and do this, that and the other. Let me tell you, his ego, going back to Manchester United, were taking a big kick in the shin, shall we say. Because he used to be a Marcus Rashford number 10. He's now going into Carrington and not having a squad number. Let me tell you, from a player's point of view, when you get your squad number taken off you and see it somewhere else, it's not a nice feeling.
Who's got his number now?
Cunha.
Cunha's got his number.
And he's not going to get the 10 back. Cunha's not going to give it to him. Almiron took that number off and put his flag in the sand and just said, right, he's my number 10, you're not having the number. He's not getting that back. So if he comes back to Manchester United, he's going to have to get a new number. Now, people will be looking at this thinking...
Does that matter
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is where people go. People will be thinking, there's a number. Do you know what? To footballers, yes, it does. Yes, it is important. So that is why I think there is a scale between both of them now where it comes back. If Marcus Rashford and Michael Carrick can have a conversation and discussion that Michael Carrick believes he can help his team and this football club go to in the direction that it needs to be and continue doing that, then he will stay. If he don't believe that, then he'll move on. But Manchester United will end up paying more to get him out than what they would keeping him.
I'm probably overly fascinated by this squad number situation. Is that purely ego, as in, I'm the man, I should have the number I want? Or is
what it is
it's
loads of different things. The ego, when you're centre forward, you go into a football club, you want to wear the number 9. You always want to wear the number 9 when you go into a club. But when people have, say, with the number 10, different people have numbers at different meanings to each other, like to themselves on a private life or superstition, etc., etc. But let me tell you, Marcus Rashford, full well, going back to Carrington, not having the number 10, even on his training kit, it's not a nice feeling.
Right, OK, well, let's have a look at their options on the wing. right? Because at the moment you could say Amad Diallo or Brian Mbeumo
Yeah.
on the right, although Mbeumo can play up front. Diallo can play at 10, I know that. We'll go through the whole squad in a minute, but left back there, Cunha, Rashford, Dorgu, who did play on the left a bit last season, but he was signed as a left wing back, wasn't he? If they're the wingers, are you happy with that as Michael Carrick?
With Rashford there, yes, because
Yes,
who else
yeah.
is there available to come in and you have to pay that money? If Rashford stays, you can see Dorgu going back to being, he could play either position, can either left wing or left back. They've got loads of games coming on, so you do see the strength in that side. And it's hard to see Marcus Rashford being at Manchester United, but it's also hard to see Marcus Rashford not being at Manchester United, because I just feel like it makes sense for Man United, it really does. And if they don't do it, then obviously it's all done. It's all done.
When we did the Liverpool squad depth, you picked a lot of holes in it, and fair enough. When you look at the Manchester United squad depth, what stands out to you?
Full-back
All of those
positions.
players. Full-backs, okay.
Full-back. Dallo and Mazzari? No, not for me. They need another right-back. I think they need someone in there. The strength. There's too many mistakes there. Even on the left-back side, Luke Shaw's there. He needs competition, Luke Shaw.
Harry Amas is only 19.
Yeah, exactly.
But then Dorgu
Yeah,
can
but they
play
need
there.
competition. But you can't have Dorgu in left wing and then if they're going competition. You need competition for places and strong competitions. You can even argue and say another centre midfielder, because is he really Man United? Kobe Mainoo's top, Tielemans, and you don't know about Santos
Well,
either.
Ugati's got a big injury.
Oh, that's it. But you don't know about Santos. We can talk about how much he cost 50 million, but how is he going to be when he's asked to perform in front of the Old Trafford fans?
Yeah, well, I was going to say to you, do you think the central midfield is now sorted, including number 10s, by the way, Bruno Fernandes and Mount, but you think they need one more? Because that was last summer, that was a lot of the talk, that they were missing one central midfielder.
Could Mount drop back in?
But then Casemiro was suddenly amazing.
Of course, but could Mount drop back in? Because Bruno Fernandes is going to play, and ultimately we can say he plays in the 10, but he ultimately plays wherever he likes.
He dropped back in under
that's what I'm
Matherin,
saying.
didn't
That's
he?
what I'm saying. He's going to play where, and would I be surprised if him and Tielemans swapped in certain games?
Right.
When the game's going on? And then arguably you've got to look at the centre-forward situation. You've got to, because you've got Benjamin Sesko there, and Zerski's going to go off to Juventus, I think I've heard, which I can't really believe. However, you do have Brian Mbeumo who can play up front instead of
Rashford
Sesko.
and Cunha.
So that's what makes sense to keep Rashford at the football club.
All right, so with Rashford there and that squad, I know that you've said that there are areas that need to be strengthened. Does that squad, how close to the title does that squad get?
Not close enough. And that's not me
Does it get
because
top
Arsenal
four again?
It's how Michael Carrick uses his squad with the European games. Now, I know I keep saying that, but that is so important. It can't be forgotten that they was out of the League Cup and the FA Cup so early. They only had the Premier League to concentrate on. Yes, when Michael Carrick come in, there was an uplift and a complete different change in momentum, of course. But it's how he can keep every player happy. He's got plenty of games. He can reshuffle the squad every now and then. But ultimately, he's in to win games of football. And every game for Manchester United is ultimately to win, because they are the biggest club, arguably the biggest club in the world, and the spotlight's always on them.
Well, on Rashford, there's a few mixed opinions on this. John said Rashford's time at United has passed. He simply isn't good enough anymore. Sell him. Now, the selling, when we talk about the financial situation of his wages, etc., I can understand, but isn't good enough anymore. Is that fair?
That's not...
From John?
I think that's emotional, because I think as a Manchester United fan, you'd probably be frustrated how this scenario has worked out. Because where he was at Manchester United to where he is now, with them years moved on, it's like they've come head-to-head with each other, and you can't really see him back in there. But I think that's quite harsh from him. I think the majority of Man United fans would have him back, but then I know a few of them would be like, his time is done.
Well, Barney says Rashford would add more to that Manchester United attack than any of their other players, especially if he was at his best. Is there any reason why he can't be at his best?
No, of course there isn't. But also adding to that, they can... John, who said about it before, is going, hang on a minute. Well, as we all know with football, if he comes back and scores a few goals, everything's forgotten. That's football. That's how it works. That's how it works. The moment he comes on, performs, keeps himself quiet, comes on the pitch, lets all his football do the talking, like he has done for England, everyone will be pleased.
I asked you the minimum requirement for Xabi Alonso at Chelsea this season. I asked you about Andoni Iraola at Liverpool. What about for Michael Carrick in his first full season in charge at Manchester United?
It's definitely getting through the group stages of Champions League. I think that's a bet.
Quite well.
Yeah,
sorry, I was about to say something.
Oh no, exactly.
I'll say it anyway. It's easier than it was. I should say.
Exactly. So that's a bare minimum to get through there. But also, I think he's got to try and replicate what he did last year and get in the top 4 again. And obviously, get through the first rounds of the League Cup and the FA Cup.
Well, yes. It appears to me, just from listening to you for the last hour or so, that talking about Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United, you haven't said a title challenge from either of them. Yep. Are you saying Arsenal and Manchester City are the top 2? Well,
yes, I am, because I haven't seen anything that's gone to anybody to contest Man City, but it's how Enzo Maresca can get his style of play across to his players, and if there's a similar coaching styles to Pep Guardiola. But the biggest thing is, I haven't said anybody to contest Arsenal. And I don't think anybody can see anybody else contesting against Arsenal. I really don't. I really don't. They've got a manager, they've built it, like I said, step by step over the years. Everybody's gone after them, coming second. I was definitely one of them. They've finally done it, and now you're looking at everybody's now playing catch-up. But this is a time where Arsenal really need to keep their foot on the pedal.
It does actually seem that the next few weeks are going to be very important in the transfer window for a lot of those clubs who would like to at least be challenging for the title. For Manchester United, is this the most settled the club has seen? Maybe the most happy the club has seemed since Sir Jim Ratcliffe took over?
I think it's quieter. I think there's not a lot of noise coming out of Manchester United, which is quite surprising. Normally, we're constantly hearing stuff that's going on at the club. And now, I think for Man United also, they've bought players for a lot of money and spent money, big money on wages. And everybody's laughed and poked fun at Manchester United when they haven't worked out. Now they're probably trying to go into a different direction. It looks like they're settled under Michael Carrick, the coaching staff. I just feel like Steve Holland is one that goes under the radar. The help and support he gives Michael Carrick settles the squad down. And at the moment, I'll be going into the season as a Man United fan positive.